Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the City Council meeting for Monday, June 24th. And I'd like to remind everyone, due to the 4th of July holiday, the City Council will not meet on Monday, July 8th. So welcome, everyone. Let us all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent meditation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In accordance with LB 898, a copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted at the back of the chamber. The order of business of the City Council is as follows. The clerk will call the items listed on the agenda under public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on an item should come forward after the clerk reads that item. The applicant and those in favor should speak first, then those opposed. The applicant may then make one short rebuttal. Each speaker should begin by stating name, address, and whether you are speaking in favor or in opposition to the item. Testimony is limited to 5 minutes per speaker. We do ask that if you choose to speak, that you do sign in on the pink sheets up at the podium there. After all the public hearing meetings, the council will vote on resolutions and items listed under third reading. On the second and last meeting of the month, which is today, immediately prior to adjournment, anyone may speak on an issue not on the agenda for that date nor planned for a future agenda. Teresa, can you please call the first item of business?
Yes, our first item of business is the public hearing consent agenda, items 1 through 3. Does anyone wish to come forward on these items?
Seeing none.
All right, if not, we can vote on these items. Items 1A and B were introduced by Christensen.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Christensen, seconded by McGinnis. Any comments? Discussion? Please call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 2A was introduced by McGinnis.
So moved. Second.
Moved by McGinnis, seconded by Christensen. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Next then are our public hearing liquor resolutions. Those giving testimony are asked to come forward and raise their right hand for the clerk to administer the oath. After the oath, witnesses shall state their names and addresses. Item 4A is the manager application of Caleb Perrine for Sam's Club, 6413 at 4900 North 27th Street. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth as you really believe it to be?
I do.
Thank you.
Well, welcome.
Hi.
And tell us a little bit about your application.
I just recently moved to Lincoln, to run the Sam's Club on North 27th Street, and so I put in the application for that.
Wonderful. How long have you been working with Sam's Club?
Total about a year now.
Okay.
I trained in Omaha for a few months.
Wonderful. Are there any questions?
Could you state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, Caleb Perrine. My address is 9802 South 80th Street, Lincoln, 68516.
Okay, thank you.
Terrific. Well, welcome. Thank you very much. Seeing no questions, you
I
may.
have a question.
Oh, yes, Sandra.
I was curious, when was your application submitted, and when have you scheduled yourself to take the training?
Yeah, it was submitted roughly a month ago. There were some issues. Our organization was trying to have a single, my market manager be the single liquor license for all the Sam's Clubs in Nebraska, and the company in Bentonville was working for that, but didn't work out, so I had to resubmit it again. And that was probably roughly, I'd say 6 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And what was the second question?
Have you scheduled yourself for
Yeah,
the manager
July
training?
11th.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks.
Next item?
Next is the manager application for Big Red Restaurant and Sports Bar at 955 West O Street. Would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth as you really believe it to be?
I do.
Thank you. Just state your name and address.
My name is Kyung Chu. I am on 955 West O Street. And, well, that was the business address. Did you need my home address as well?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your application and about your restaurant and,
Absolutely. I'm the general manager over at Big Red on West O Street, and I just started there about 2 months ago. And I've been working for Big Red for about 11 months prior to that. Just got back from a deployment in March. I'm part of the National Guard. And then, and so I've been training and been taking over for about a month now.
wonderful. So have you been involved in restaurants before?
I have. Well, like I said before, prior to my deployment, I was working for Big Red on the East Andermatt location for about 11 months. And before that, I've been working at restaurants for about the last 10 years, so.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you for your service, too. Are there any questions?
You got all the good questions, Madam Chair.
Good. Thank you very much. Appreciate your being here. All right, the next item.
All right, next is the application of the Zoo Bar for a special designated license to cover an outdoor area measuring approximately 438 feet by 267 feet at 14th Street between O and P Streets on July 19th between 4 p.m. and 1 a.m. and July 20th between noon and 1 a.m. Glad you
Welcome.
could make it.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Pete Waters, 2735 Everett Street.
Tell us a little bit about this event.
Well, we're having our annual event, the anniversary of the Zoo Bar. We'd like to have on July 19th and 20th, right in front of the bar, 14th Street between O and P Streets.
And what anniversary is it, may we ask?
46th,
46.
yes.
And how many people do you expect to join you?
I think in the past, and we like the lineup this year, so I think 1,500 to 2,000 each night, probably.
How many bands are lined up?
Pardon me?
How many bands do you have lined up?
We have 4 on Friday and 5 on Saturday, so 9 total.
Wonderful. Wonderful tradition.
Thank you.
Any questions? Hope the weather's good.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
I will move approval of items 4A through C.
Second.
Okay, moved by Christensen, seconded by Washington. Any discussion? Let's call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. Next then is our public hearing resolution, item 5A, approving the 2019-20 work plan for the interlocal agreement on stormwater management between the city and Lower Platte South NRD to address stormwater quality and quantity issues.
Good evening. My name is Ben Higgins. I'm the Superintendent of Stormwater. I'm with Lincoln Transportation and Utilities. And with me is Paul Zillig. He's with Lower Platte South Natural Resources District. He's the general manager over there. This is a cost share we've been doing since the late 90s through an agreement that was done in 1996. So it's just a cost share agreement with the NRD. It kind of lays out the responsibilities and the kind of the estimated cost of various projects. The city portion of the dollars all comes from stormwater general obligation bonds, and as you remember, the most recent one was approved by the public last May. Most of the projects are split 50-50, most of the projects and programs. It also includes some projects that have federal funding and also projects like we're doing one with the county where we're coordinating with the county. All these projects, or most of these projects, are from stormwater master plans. So a master plan is what we do for drainage master plan. We do it for specific drainages in town, like Antelope Creek, Dead Man's Run, Stevens Creek, Beal Slough. And so one of the things we do on these master plans is we have a list of projects in there. And so we have like water quality projects, stream stability projects, and projects to reduce flooding impacts. So some of the projects we're including in there is the biggest one of all is Dead Man's Run, and so at Dead Man's Run we're hoping to remove about 480 businesses and residences from the floodplain, so it's a pretty big project. We're also doing some work with the county on Little Salt Creek, also with parks over on that Gap Park up in Beal Slough, and also on Salt Creek, stream stability over there. We don't want to have the bridges like on Old Cheney undermined, so we feel that we need to do a project over there. So it's just a lot of various projects that you can see from going through there. Also, another interesting project we're doing is we do a cost share with individual homeowners that they can do things like rain gardens or de-pave or other things like that. And so the NRD cost shares on that. So we usually get about 30 homeowners a year that do that. The total cost is around $6.9 million estimated, with 3.6 from the city and 3.3 million from the NRD. Paul?
No, very good. Good summary by Ben. NRD board has already approved this. We think there's a lot of good projects in there, and we look forward to working with the city on this another year.
So if there's any questions?
Any questions? We know it's been a great partnership and in our water management, and that makes our city great, so thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
I wanted to say thanks to Ben for the stormwater tour that you provided for me, and I learned a lot and saw a lot of the great work that you and that your department's doing, so thank you so much.
Okay. And in fact, if anybody else wants to do something like that, just give me a call. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Terrific. All right, next item. Oh, we can vote. All right.
This was introduced by Christensen.
So moved?
Second.
Moved by Christensen, seconded by Schob. Any discussion?
This is a good thing.
This is a good thing. Okay, call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Next then is our public hearing ordinance on second reading. Item 6A is amending Title 24 of the Lincoln Municipal Code relating to plumbing and sewers by amending Section 24.12.125, registration of plumbers, to clarify the license registration process by adding a new section numbered 24.12.157 entitled Section 223.0, amended definitions -U, to add a new definition for utility contractor by amending Section 24.12.225, Table 501.1, amended first hour rating to adopt the 2015 and 2018 National Code requirements as part of the Lincoln Plumbing Code.
Thank you. Chad Blaha, Building and Safety, and those descriptions make them sound a lot more serious than these changes actually are. They're a little more than cleanup, maybe clarification is a better description. The first change, as described, clarifies who is allowed to obtain permits and who needs to be doing the work for those permits. This language clarifies that master plumbers who take out a permit must provide the staff and the workers to complete the work that is associated with that permit. This language is very similar to what appears in the Lincoln Mechanical Code and Electrical Codes, so it's kind of clarifying that language and making sure that it reads properly. I want to point out that we still include the exception for utility contractors. Those are the folks that are making the service runs off of the mains that go onto private property. Those folks are still able to make the permit, so they do not have to engage the services of the master plumbing contractor. And it also does not affect the homeowner's ability to take out their own plumbing permits to do that work. It's just strictly clarifying that work done by a master plumber is done by their employees, and they don't take out permits on behalf of other entities. The second item is the first hour rating. This is also not really clarification, but it's bringing our code in line with some changes that occurred at the federal level and at the manufacturer's level. There were some changes the way manufacturers were required to calculate or produce the first hour rating on water heaters. And so the code that we adopt did not, or that we have adopted currently, does not match those ratings. So without getting too technical, the net effect is a price reduction in water heater replacements for many locations based on the changes on how that rating is. And I apologize if you want to get into the technical weeds. My chief plumbing inspector, should be here. However, he had a rather urgent medical procedure, and so he's out for a couple of weeks. But I can certainly get any questions to or answers to you if you want to get more technical in nature regarding either of these two items. I also want to point out that the Plumbing Code Task Force, which some of you know about, some of you don't, because you haven't gone through that process yet. It's our citizen group that's made up of local contractors that we engage to provide recommendations to our construction codes. And in the case of these two changes, these items were discussed and voted unanimously to recommend approval by that group. So with that, I will try to answer any questions.
Benny gave you a thumbs up, so this is such an exciting topic. Thank you for sharing this with us, and I see no questions.
Need pipes.
All right,
Pipes are good, yes.
that is the end of our public hearing.
Okay, we can move into the voting session. Item 7A, change of zone 19013. This is for a change from P Public to R4 on property generally located at 3600 R Street, introduced by Bowers.
So moved, or,
Yes.
yeah, so moved.
Second.
Boy, I couldn't tell who seconded that, but I'm going to give it to, introduced by Bowers, seconded by Christensen. Any discussion? Let's call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. 7B is a change of zone 19016 for a change from R2 residential to R2 residential with landmark overlay on property generally located at 3422 Grimsby Lane, introduced by Bowers.
So moved.
Second.
Introduced by Bowers, seconded by McGinnis. Any discussion? Let's call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. Next is item 7C, special permit 19027, application to allow for the construction of a detached garage with waivers regarding height, lot, and area, and other zoning restrictions on property generally located at 3422 Grimsby Lane, introduced by Bowers.
So moved.
Second.
Introduced by Bowers, seconded by Ward. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Raybold?
Yes.
Schob?
Yes.
Ward?
Yes.
Washington?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0. Our resolutions on first reading are items 8A through E. Anyone wishing to address the council on a matter not on this agenda and not scheduled to appear on a future agenda may do so at this time, since it is an open microphone night.
Please come forward, and we ask that you sign in.
How's this work?
If you put it on there, it will come up automatically.
If you give me the time to print this, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Please hit this. Yeah.
Good evening, Chairman, Chairwoman, excuse me, ma'am. Other city council members. My name is Louis Gratz. I am living at the address of 5020 South 56th Street. I will not be taking up my whole 5 minutes, so no worries. I'm here because of this.
Face up.
Face up.
There you go.
I'm here because of this. This picture was taken this morning on the banks of the Rio Grande River. I'll read from the report. Then an El Salvadoran and his 2-year-old daughter were drowned in the Rio Grande when they were trying to enter the United States. Oscar, the father that you see, and his daughter Valeria submerged themselves in the river, attempting to enter Brownsville, but died in that attempt. On Sunday afternoon, Tania, Oscar's wife and mother of that young girl, asked for the support of the authorities after seeing the bodies of her family go underwater as they were trying to attempt to cross the Rio Grande. The corpses emerged this morning. Tania told the press that they had been waiting for 2 months in the New Bridge camp for an appointment to ask for political asylum. But as the rumors of the separations of families at the border, that moment dragged on, and the father became desperate. And he decided to take his child and cross the river. I bring this to your attention for one simple reason. I have been here the majority of the time since I lost my city council race, specifically over immigration rights and the people that are living within our own community here that are constantly pawns in the political games that, quite frankly, some of you choose not to play. I'm asking you, again, to not only stand up for yourselves in your own moral, your own definition of what you are as human beings, but to stand with the administrations in Chicago, Denver, Boston, New Orleans, St. Louis, who all, when hearing about the raids that were going to happen, all made sure, including other cities on the West Coast, but I won't count those. I won't count those on the East because you guys always say we're not coastal. So I list the cities that are right here in the heartland that made it quite clear. City resources, city officers, city land, city vehicles would no longer be used, nor would city taxpayers' money, if that's what's important to you, be used to terrorize our neighborhoods, to be complicit in what is going on in this country right now. It is on y'all. And the only reason I am here right now is because I reached out to others that are far more respectable than me, to y'all, that have degrees, that have been putting in the work, that have been helping people through the process. And they said it's a waste of their time to come talk to you anymore. Thank you.
You have 1 minute. Lou, you have 1 more minute.
That's it. I'm here because I'm an idiot that honestly believes that maybe even when others are losing faith, one person standing here will get y'all to stand one at a time and go look at the mayor and say, what are we doing? Because they start giving up today. Far more respectable people than me, far more better educated people than me, far nicer people than me, far more diplomatic people than me have given up on all of you. So it's not on me, it's on you. What will you all do? Are we okay with families getting yanked out? Children coming home, wondering what's about? Are we okay? Because I won't equate it, but I will say it. First they came for the socialists, and y'all ain't one of them. Thank y'all very much, and I hope y'all have a good evening. Consider this.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
Lou.
leave that.
Is there anyone else that would like to testify on an item not on our agenda or on?
I found this on the web. Or is there anyone else that?
Oh,
Sarah, you knew. I move adjournment.
someone has moved adjournment. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Christensen, seconded by Ward. Teresa, please call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Raybold,
Yes.
Schob, Ward,
Yes.
Washington,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Christensen.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
We are adjourned.
Yes.